We finished a really big evaluation. The challenges have been both substantive but also political. And the substantive ones were a young fund, so the GCF is a very young organization, so we didn't have the institutional makeup to provide us with the data or really be able to understand as to how we should engage with countries, because nothing had been done before, right? So all of this was new and we were making it up as we were going along, and so in that sense it was definitely real time, but also real time institution building. Building the institution of evaluation as a function within the fund as we were doing the evaluation. So that was an interesting dialectic for us. And then, of course, for a new office, the politics of it were interesting because it was also an exercise in legitimacy. Does an evaluation function need to be there for an organization that is so young? And that was part of many dialogues that we had, both with the board, with the outside communities, etc. But I think what we were proud of is coming out with something that wasn't just a product, and so a wonderful looking report, but also engaging in a process that continues. Before the evaluation, we started at the beginning, and that continues even now. And it's helping to inform the replenishment process for the GCF, which is cool. We're sitting on the table with decision makers, and we're influencing and informing GCF1. So the first new strategy of GCF post-replenishment is being guided by this evaluation. So yeah, exciting times. Okay, so I'm going to talk very quickly perhaps about 2 or 3 things. One is the fact that there is very little understanding of benefits. So environment, like climate change, is a public good. And you have to make decisions that are trade-offs, and you have to make decisions that are going to negatively influence either people or sectors or themes. I think that's a challenge. We still haven't grappled successfully with the idea of how to measure those trade-offs, and therefore how to really provide informed informed evaluations to decision makers. So that's one. The idea of understanding and measuring benefits, that's one. Second is the question of bias. And I don't mean bias in the traditional sense of the word. The idea is that even in the evidence that we have previously, because evaluation should stand on the shoulders of giants, so we should be looking at what's been done earlier, what we already know, and then inform either the activities or the sectors or the programs that we're looking at. Unfortunately, in environment and in climate, there's very little evidence that is credible that has been produced before. So I think there's a double challenge for evaluation to produce credible evidence so that we can inform future action as a global good, right? Because very little of this has been done before. If you look at what are high quality studies that have been done in the space of climate change to influence behavior, for example, we've done evidence reviews, very little. There's only one study in an evidence gap map on forestry that looked at the impact of forestry interventions on greenhouse gas emissions. One in the past 20 years. That's a comprehensive assessment of the high quality evidence. So that's the second, so bias. And the third one is behavior. We don't look at behavior as much as we should be. I mean, climate change is the favorite whipping dog of this particular conundrum that we have, which is that we have a lot of evidence, but behavior doesn't change. So what can we do for that last mile? So it's essentially benefit measurement. So B for benefits, B for bias, and B for behavior. So a couple of things that we are also doing within my office. I'll talk briefly about those two. One is using behavioral insights to understand, you can put in investments that are billions of dollars, but finally it's only going to make a difference if we make a difference in the last mile. And there's a lot of work that's being done by Kahneman and Tversky. They're Nobel Prize winners, for those who don't know. Then Richard tailor, etc. And this is about behavioral insights. But we have to start to incorporate a lot of these insights into our own work. So one is that behavioral science, incorporating that, and I think that's, frontier in terms of thinking. And the second is artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So right from taking away the drudgery of our work and scraping data and writing Python code, etc., you can use that for machine learning. But you can also do that for analysis. You can also sort of create artificial intelligence systems so that you can your regression system can actually learn and update in a Bayesian way as it goes along. And so both of those things can and should be thought about, and that's what we're thinking about. Humans and humans, because this is the sixth extinction. We're witnessing it, and so it's clearly that we are not making the difference that we should be in this space, and human beings are being completely impervious to understanding the impact of their actions, but also impervious to the evidence that we have that our actions are the ones that are going to make a difference. So it is the classic public good problem, and it's going to stay.